privilege it is to dream of a life so big you can't sleep. What a privilege it is to be
Hey, so I came across your video and so I looked on your profile and I was like, okay, so you're into like the spirituality, yeah, New Age. Hear me out. I used to be into the New Age spirituality. I was a truth seeker, conspiracy theorist, seeking for healing and the truth. I was in that movement for 15 years and all I found was demonic oppression. It was a constant hamster wheel of doing the next new fad, the next new spiritual practice, like breath work, a new form of yoga, a new form of meditation, things like that, Reiki, all of it, tarot, angel cards, just constantly thirsting for truth, for healing, and never really arriving, right? Constantly, in the New Age, you're told, oh, it's just, you're purging, you're healing. That's why you're in this darkness. You're purging your darkness, your shadow, doing shadow work, or you're spiritually bypassing, right? So, long story short, and stick with me because 5 years ago, when I realized after doing new moon rituals, like I was doing letting go rituals to the full moon and the new moon, and I was like, well, how come if this is the path? I remember this is my question in my head. How come if this is the path, if this is the way, the truth, right? This is healing. How come every month I'm dealing with the same shit, the same issues? How come I'm having outbursts of anger at the full moon? When I was doing these letting go rituals every month. But every time the full moon, new moon came around, and I was doing these letting go rituals to the moon, worshipping the moon, creation, not the creator, right? I was getting these outbursts of anger, like rage, out of nowhere. And I was like, this isn't right. That's when I started questioning the New Age spirituality. I was like, and like fear and anxiety would take hold of me. Really, really bad. Out of nowhere, like just out of nowhere. Random. And it was just so frightening to me. And I was like, what the frick is going on? Why am I going through this? This isn't right. I've been doing this for 15 years. Because at first, when you get on when you have your spiritual awakening, that there's more to this world, there's a spiritual realm, right? There's something going on. At first, it feels like freedom. At first, it feels like bliss, and you follow your bliss, and it leads you into all these things because the devil, Satan, comes as an angel of light. And if you're awake to the satanic agendas, of this world, right? But yet, you have not come to the Bible. Because when we realize that Satan is real, surely that means God is real, right? I don't know where you're at on your spiritual journey, but I've also noticed that you have a tattoo of 444. Do you see those numbers? I don't want to be presumptuous, but when I was in the New Age, I kept seeing 1111 and I kept seeing 144. 144. And in the New Age, they tell you, oh, you're one of the 144 chosen light workers, star seeds, which is what I fell into. I believed that. Absolutely did believe that. Because it's a counterfeit to the Bible. Everything is a counterfeit to God. Satan is a copycat. He counterfeits everything. But really, if you're seeing that number, God is calling you to become one of the very elect. Because in the Bible, there is an army of Messiah, 144,000 army. His very elect. Everything is a counterfeit to the Bible. But Satan's done a great job of stopping people coming to God, the true God of the Bible, because Satan runs all the churches. The churches have lied. The Holy Bible is written against the churches. I cried out for the truth 5 years ago because I realized that the New Age was just not working. It was so demonic. I was being possessed by demons, hijacked by demons. I was having dreams of these things. It was disgusting. My life was turning into hell. Because at first, it's all bliss. He gives you everything you desire. He gives you everything you want. This is the devil, right? But then comes a time to pay what is the version? What do they say? The pipe. I don't know how you say it, but you know what I mean. It's time to pay up. So when it's time to pay up, the devil turns on you. He starts attacking you. His demons attack you. And you're like, what the fuck is happening? So I cried out for the ultimate truth. And I had an encounter with God. His spirit of grace, which is conviction, was upon me. And I was led to the Bible. I never thought I'd ever say I was a Christian. Dead against all that. But the church is not a representation of our God, of the God creator of this world, Jehovah. I'm not of any religion, denomination. I just follow the Messiah of the Bible, which his name is Yeshua, because the church have lied about the Messiah's name. It's not Jesus. It's Yeshua, because he was a Hebrew man from Israel. And Yeshua into English is Joshua, not Jesus. It's a Roman Catholic Church that lied about his name, changed it to a corrupt name, a pagan name. They brought in Christmas and Easter, which is witchcraft, it's pagan. Christians shouldn't be doing that shit. And no, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. But Christians should not be doing it like it's pagan, it's witchcraft. Witches do Christmas and Easter. The whole world do Christmas and Easter. The Bible speaks against Christmas and Easter. All God ever wanted was for the whole world to keep the Ten Commandments. The Holy Bible is written against the Christian church, the end days churches, the Christians, because they're self-righteous and they're hypocritical, because they'll tell you like drinking alcohol and smoking, even smoking weed and cussing, swearing is a sin, but none of that's sin. God doesn't give a shit about that stuff. What he cares about is if you keep his 10 commandments, his righteousness. Because if you can imagine a whole world that everyone kept the 10 commandments, it'd be at peace, right? You'd be able to trust your husband. They wouldn't cheat on you because thou shalt not commit adultery. You'd be able to trust people in general because you'd be able to keep your car unlocked, your house unlocked because thou shalt not steal. And you'd be able to trust your friends not to lie to you because thou shalt not lie. Your husband not to lie, thou shalt not bear false witness. And not to covet or be envious or jealous of you. Thou shalt not murder, also not to hate in your heart. And also thou shalt not commit adultery also means not to lust. Then you'd know that your husband's not lusting in his mind and heart after other women. What a beautiful world. If everyone kept the 10 commandments, the world would be at peace. We were supposed to keep the 10 commandments, but because the church dropped the ball and didn't go and love their neighbour as themselves and teach them to keep the 10 commandments as Messiah Yeshua commanded, that's why the world is a shit hole. Great tribulation's coming, and I think you could be a lost sheep, because I was you. I was in the spirituality, New Age. Then I started reading the Bible, had an encounter with the Messiah of the Bible and God. And praise Jehovah. And I keep seeing 144, 14, the 444s, and I think you do too if you've got that tattoo there, right? I believe God is, he pours much grace upon all his creation, and whoever, because grace is conviction, and whoever hearkens to that grace, who is really seeking for the truth, will find him. So, I just thought I'd let you know. I pray you have ears to hear, because